Hey guys, it's Megan
and Liz, and welcome back to Noted. This is the season 1 finale.
It is episode 10 of 10.
Yeah, episode 10 of 10. We decided that we were going to do a first season with 10 episodes, and here we are.
Yes, this final episode is going to be covering all things YouTube and YouTube covers.
Yeah, people are always like, oh, do you consider yourselves YouTubers? And it's hard because, like, yes, that's how we got our start. That's, we're YouTubers. But at the same time, we're really not YouTubers.
Yeah, I would say it's definitely a part of our story, but I wouldn't say, like, currently that's what we are.
No. Even back then, I wouldn't say that's what we were, really.
And also, just a little sidebar, if you are watching this, we are recording in a different location today. This is my bedroom. I have painters downstairs, and they're just, like, banging around. So we decided to film up here.
Yeah. And, mix it up for the season finale.
Wow.
Yeah.
So anyway, back to YouTube. I definitely don't like when people are like, oh, what do you do for a job? I'm not like, I'm a YouTuber.
No, but even back when we were doing covers and stuff, I still never, we would never answer even when we were in the thick of it. We would never be like, yeah, we're YouTubers.
No, I would just say I was a singer.
Yes, exactly. YouTube was more like the vehicle for us being singers.
Great vehicle. Very thankful for that vehicle.
Best vehicle.
Yeah.
God bless the vehicle.
So let's kick it off with an interesting topic, and that was the YouTube competition of it all. So if you watch YouTube at all back in the day when covers were, keeping you fed, keeping you full, you knew that there was like a handful of big cover YouTube artists.
Which is insane because we started YouTube so long ago that it's wild that there were only, I would say, really at the time that we were aggressively posting and everyone else was aggressively posting, I would say like 10.
I know. I'm like, can we try and name them all?
Yes.
Like off. Okay. So like I'll do one, then you do one.
Okay.
It'd be like that game.
Okay.
Obviously we have Megan Nicole.
Mm-hmm. Christina Grimmie.
Yes. Savannah Uten.
Yep. Cimarelli.
Yes. We had Tiffany Alvord.
Kurt Schneider.
Yep. / Sam Sui.
Sam Sui.
Alex Scoot.
Tyler Ward.
Yes. Boyce Avenue. Julia Shear was kind of in that.
Yeah, in that realm.
Yeah.
I mean,
I know I'm missing somebody.
Yeah, but really, I feel like that is the meat of them.
That was like in our realm of like who we were competing with for like cover views and like who had the quote best cover. And this wasn't even like best cover per se. It was just like which cover performed the best.
And how you did that was who got it out the fastest.
Yes. And fun fact about that is, number one, I want to start off with back in the day, YouTube had a homepage, and the most viewed videos, like in music, if your video was in that category, which all of ours were, they would put the 4 most popular on the homepage, and that would just get you an insane amount of traffic and an insane amount of views. So it was kind of everybody fighting for a spot on that page, because usually the first 2 were taken by like a major label artist,
like Maroon 5.
Yeah. And I feel like if you were lucky, you got the 3 or the 4 spot.
But that was huge.
Yeah.
And that's something that I think if you're on YouTube now, you don't realize like how awesome that was and how important it was and how it was critical to growth. Because now on YouTube, not only is it completely saturated, but it's also like if you go to youtube.com, it'll just be like recommended videos for you, and it'll be based on like an algorithm and whatever, whereas before it was like they just threw out like a casting net of like your face was on everyone's YouTube homepage. Like it didn't matter who. If you had a YouTube, you were on the homepage if you made it to that homepage.
And can we talk about what we as YouTubers would do to try and fight? You want to tell them?
So, like we said, it was a race.
Mhm.
So it wasn't necessarily the best cover. Seriously.
It really wasn't.
It wasn't the quality. It wasn't the camera. It wasn't the sound. It was literally whoever got that video posted first. And so you would stay up until midnight if you knew like somebody big like Katy Perry was coming out with a new song at midnight. You would literally stay up till midnight. You would listen to the song, you would learn the song all at midnight, and then like first thing in the morning you would get up and record it.
Yeah.
And it was all of those people that we had mentioned before doing that. It was just unspoken. Like you all were just fighting, racing, trying to get this cover out.
It was like having a newborn, like no sleep for like 48 hours until that cover was like on the internet.
Because if you got that immediate traction fastest, then you got on the homepage, and then the homepage gave you all the views and gave you all the new eyeballs.
And it wasn't just the homepage either. It would come up first when people would search for the song.
Yes. Oh yeah, almost sometimes even before the artist.
Yeah.
Because back in the day, like sometimes the label wouldn't even put up the lyric video or the music video before your cover. And yeah, that's how you literally tricked the system.
Yeah.
So people would be like, oh, Katy Perry has a new song, I'm gonna look it up. And then it'd be like, you're looking for Katy Perry, it's like, surprise, here's a Megan Liz cover. And people are like, good enough, and they click on it.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. And
So-
it worked.
Yeah. So there was like this whole algorithm game and timing game that we were all playing with each other. And I remember sometimes like if we couldn't get it out quick enough, like I remember just feeling so defeated. I was like, why are we even
what's
doing
the
this?
point? Yeah. I know, it was like, it doesn't matter anyway.
Or like, oh my gosh, I can't remember who it was, but I remember specifically one person had the cover, like they did it. They put it up at like 3 a.m.
Yeah,
so like they stayed.
I remember that too.
Yeah, who was it?
I don't remember who, but I do remember that because it was like
Yeah.
they had a studio booked. Like it was not only the first cover, but it was like a really good cover.
Yeah.
Like it had like it was a studio recording, and it was like HQ video. It had to have been.
I feel like it was Tyler Ward.
It was either Tyler Ward or Megan Nicole.
Yeah. But I feel like it was Tyler Ward because he had his own studio. Like he
had that availability.
Yeah, he had that.
Yeah.
So like he definitely like pulled an all-nighter to like, get that cover up.
Yeah.
Or I'd also heard the rumor mill back in the day was that some people had like ins with labels and they would get sent the song early to help get promo.
Mm-hmm. That never happened for us.
No, that never happened with us. But I mean, it's smart.
Yeah,
smart. So yeah, that was wild. But that was how our cover of Here We Go Again by Demi Lovato got on the homepage. And I vividly remember, number one, the comments just being absolutely like a dumpster fire.
We were eviscerated.
Yeah. So that was number one. Number two, that was how our manager and our label ended up finding us. So, and that's like not even one of my favorite covers.
No. And it's funny because people always would ask us at the time, or like after, when we were doing all these interviews and stuff after Bad For Me and everything, they'd be like, what was the video that really like changed for you? Like what happened? And we would always say that it wasn't one video, it was really more gradual. But if we had to pinpoint it, it was that one. Because for whatever reason, that one just got so many views so quick, I guess because it was on the homepage.
Yeah.
And it just attracted the right people for like whatever reason. And it wasn't one of our best covers, that's for sure.
It was like decent.
It was decent, but like definitely not our best. But yeah, that was a good one. That was a fun one.
Should we segue with that topic into the brutality of YouTube comments?
Okay, I want to address one more thing about that archaic time in YouTube history, and you will remember this, and I don't know if anyone else will remember this besides the creators at the time, but do you remember when you would get stuck in the 300 view jail?
Yes.
So like it was a thing that this is like how old our videos are and like how long we had been doing this, like,
and just like how old
the internet was. Literally the system of YouTube, like the actual like programming of YouTube was your videos would get stuck at 300 views. It would be like 300, 301, 303, somewhere around there.
321.
321.
I completely forgot about that. But people, the viewers, like I'm sure you remember that too, because I remember there would always be a top comment that was like 300 club, like thumbs up.
Yeah. But so it would get stuck like that for like 24 hours?
At least 12.
Yeah. So you literally, like, you wouldn't know how many views your video was getting until like 12 hours later. So sometimes you would like check out, it would be like a game. We'd check back like in the morning or the next day and be like, oh my God, I wonder how many views the video had, because you had no idea.
It was like Christmas morning.
Yeah, which is so crazy that you had to wait like a full 12 hours to be like, did you get 8,000 views? Did we get 100,000 views? Like, we never knew because it was stuck in the 300 range.
And you could like kind of gauge by the comments, but like not really, because sometimes I remember I'd be like, we have so many comments, like we're gonna have so many views, and like it was just like a video that got a lot of comments, you know what I mean?
But that's just how old and like antiquated the YouTube infrastructure was. Like, I can't imagine posting anything now.
Like, imagine posting a TikTok and it going viral and just being stuck at 300 views and then like refreshing,
and it happening to not only you but to like everyone. Like, it was a very common thing. Like, that would not happen today. No. But it's something that we did as original content creators, I guess. Okay, now we can go into the brutal comments.
We always say like the internet raised us, because I mean it did, and we talked about this like briefly in another podcast, that it had its pros and its cons. One of its pros was obviously growing up on the internet, like there wasn't room for us to do stupid things, which was very, very helpful. Kind of kept us in line. But also a con was the negative comments. Oh my gosh. I still vividly remember one about you, and I'm sure it's the same one.
The troll one. Yeah, yes. I know. No, it really, really resonated with me.
But no, it was kind of,
it's funny. It's funny. Basically they were just like, why does the one on the left look like a troll under a bridge or something? And I was just like,
no, it was
thanks.
Like the one on the left, is the one on the left a troll? Tell her to go back to under her bridge.
Yeah, that's what it was. Something like that.
Creative.
But so back to what we were saying about how if you got on that homepage, it wasn't like curated to like girls who
or like
our
your
age,
subscribers.
No, it wasn't curated towards like even like your age demographic. It was on the homepage of every single human being who went to youtube.com. So, and this is like 2009 to like 2014 is when it was like really, really in the thick of it.
I think 2009, 2010, and 2011 were like
the worst,
the peak of like the homepage, because I think they took away the homepage. I'm not sure what year, but they did.
But there was also, you have to think about like the internet culture. Like today, even if you go on like a viral TikTok and people are like commenting mean things about whatever, there's still an element of like internet police. Do you know what I mean? Where it's like the people who are like, that is extremely offensive, and you know, this is blah 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 blah. Like, can you imagine like a real person's reading this, blah blah blah? Like, there's always those like warriors now, like even if people are being mean online. Whereas back then, no warriors, no nothing.
But also keep in mind that there weren't like messages. So now if people are much more hesitant to comment really rude things like that on any sort of platform, because number one, they're just going to get reported and just attacked by other people. So now they're more likely to send it in a DM, because only your eyes are going to see that and nobody's going to come for them. But back in the day, number one, there wasn't, I feel like, a vast understanding between the internet not to comment those types of things.
No, there was it was literally, people thought they had an anonymity, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
you know what I'm trying to say. Like, they thought that they were anonymous.
Yeah.
Because back in 2009, if you commented on a YouTube video, you were anonymous.
Yeah.
Because who was gonna like, nobody at your work was gonna see the comment. Nobody in your life was gonna see the comment. Like, it was this place on the internet that people truly thought that they were anonymous, and they thought that like the person reading the comment, the creator was never gonna see it, and these weren't even real people. There wasn't that like distinction yet.
Yeah, they could just take out their repressed anger and jealousy out on you and me.
Literally.
Like,
and we were 16 years old.
I mean, we were younger than that. I mean, we started when we were like 14.
Yeah. I cannot imagine, like, I literally can't imagine. It was so like raw.
Yeah. But it does really prove how far the internet has come in that sense. And I'm not trying to be like, when we did Are You Happy Now, that was like also a big part of the reason why. It's like, yes, online bullying is still very much a thing, but it's definitely not as bad as it was back in the day.
No, because it wasn't coming, because now I feel like online bullying comes from like almost these communities where it's like you can't tell the line is like, oh, are they a fan or are they a hater? Whereas when we were on the internet, it was almost like being in a chat room.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just like with 45-year-old men who had nothing to do with you. Yeah. And I don't know. It was, so yes, I agree.
The internet has come really far with internet bullying. I will say, I mean, obviously, I shouldn't say internet bullying as a whole. I should say internet bullying with the concept of being anonymous.
Yeah, because you're not anonymous.
Nobody is anonymous anymore. And everybody knows that you're not anonymous anymore.
Yeah. So and yes, people still leave mean comments on viral videos and stuff like that, but it's just different, and you can't pretend that it's not different, because it is.
Yeah, people just get like attacked. Like if you were the bully in that situation, if you're starting a fight on a video, like people come for you.
Yeah. Yeah. Or and they'll like message you and be like, why are you commenting on a 14-year-old girl's YouTube and blah, blah, blah. We had none of that. It was just raw comments that were horrible about like our looks, about our voices, about our weight, about our house. I remember people just being like, your house is so crappy and like blah, 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 blah. Like, you guys must be poor and you guys are trash, and just based on like the sliver you could see in our house.
Well, that's the point, I think, is that just the internet in general, they would take this literal snapshot of all they could see, because at that point most of them were webcam, and they would like, that's how desperate they were to be negative. It's like they would take anything that they could. They'd be like, I hate your carpet.
Like your carpet means that you're a bad person. It's like, oh, geez, like
why'd you pick that carpet color? It says a lot about you as a person.
It's like, oh my god, it was insane. But crazy.
So another thing that I think we should talk about is how YouTubers make money. So it's definitely a mixture of paid advertisement placements, which I feel like that's probably more the norm these days than it was back. Like, we would get occasional ones, but now I feel like I see them all the time on YouTubers, like vloggers and stuff. And then there's this thing called Google AdSense, and basically all the ads that you see on YouTube, that YouTuber is making money off of. So, and obviously the more video views it gets, the more money that these people are making.
And you can't monetize certain videos. Like, could we monetize our covers? I feel like we couldn't.
There was like a backdoor thing we had to do with it. Like, we had to say that it wasn't our content, like we didn't own it or
but
something.
Also, like, this was kind of more like the Wild West of the internet, and I feel like now you can't get away with that.
That's so true.
But I feel like back then, when we were really doing covers a lot, like back in Michigan, we were able to get around it somehow. But I think labels just like took forever to catch up. So I think that now, obviously, if you like sing a clip of a song,
they're like video taken down because that song's not yours.
No money taken away. But back then we would make decent money on YouTube, and that was, we've said that before, I think in the money episode, that like that was our job. Like, we every month it would be like our paycheck.
Like, we didn't need to get a job in high school because that made us money. Although I will say, I don't know, I'm very curious, obviously, because we're not posting consistently in that space anymore. I wonder if it's gone down like Spotify has. You know what I mean? Like, I wonder if it's like,
I feel like it has. And again, we're kind of not the most, believe it or not, we're actually not the most like informed about how YouTubers make money today.
I mean, obviously we know like the paid placement ones.
Yeah.
But the whole AdSense thing, I really don't know how that's changed.
I don't either. And I want to say too that there's certain like programs that you can get into that like you almost like a podcast network where it's like they pay for the pre-roll ads and stuff like that.
Okay.
And, depending on how many views you get X amount of money. I think that there's programs like that too, but I'm not certain. Again, like we don't really do YouTube anymore, so I don't really know.
I do feel like I can confidently probably say that they're definitely making the most money on brands.
Yeah.
I think that's where every influencer, YouTuber, Instagrammer, whatever is making the majority of their money is the brands.
Yeah.
So something that we would constantly get a lot when we were on radio tour was the being pigeonholed as YouTubers. And before we talk about that, I do want to say that everybody in every single radio interview would say, oh, you guys are YouTubers like Justin Bieber.
Oh.
And Justin Bieber was not a YouTuber. He was like already signed. He was
an industry plant.
He was an industry plant. He was not a YouTuber. Like, yes, he did well on YouTube, but like he didn't get his start on YouTube.
No,
does that make sense? Like he was planted there.
Yes, someone discovered him up in Canada.
Yeah.
From like, I don't know, maybe the Justin Bieber fans will like correct us, but I'm pretty sure what happened is he had like one video do well on either YouTube or like Facebook or something. It was one video, one singular video that did like okay. And that's when Scooter found him and whatever. But then that's when Scooter was like, now we're gonna have you do YouTube video covers because we're gonna make you look like you grew overnight on YouTube. And we're like, no, that is not what a YouTuber is.
Yeah.
And oh my gosh, it would make us so mad.
Yeah, because they would just always compare us. But that was like one of the most frustrating parts of going into mainstream music was we were trying so hard to shake the YouTuber title. Like we hated it because we felt like people didn't take us seriously. We felt like we were not put in the same category as like Katy Perry and like all of them, because
or even the new artists, like the new artists that we were with, which was beyond frustrating because there would be these new artists who didn't have anything. Like they didn't have any fan base, they didn't have any streams, they didn't have any sort of anything, no Twitter followers, no nothing. And they would still get more credit and they would still get more opportunities and whatever because they were signed to a major label and like the label was pushing them. And like here we were like busting our butts on YouTube, still doing the covers, still doing originals, while also doing everything that these other artists were simultaneously doing, which now it's backwards. You know, it's like everybody wants you to be TikTok famous before you get signed.
I know it. And that's like, they want you to do that now.
Yeah, they want you to have a fan base and stuff. But back when we were like really out there grinding, it was almost like a hindrance of like this weird, like, you guys are just like YouTubers and you just do little videos. And
you know what's crazy is how much that's changed, because also we were right on the cusp of when it flipped over. I feel like every single thing that we did, we were right on the cusp of when it changed. Because back in the day, it was almost like the major labels didn't want you to have any sort of following. They didn't want you to build it on their own because that was their job. That was their job. We were taking their job. Like, they felt like they looked at us and they came in, they're like, well, I mean, like, you know, there's nothing really left to do. And now they like don't even look at you unless you had what we had. And that really flipped. Also, a side note, I thought of this the other day and I told you, and that was wild. When Bad For Me came out, Spotify did not exist.
That's insane.
So Bad For Me came on Spotify. It didn't come on Spotify until like 2014. Yeah. So that's why a lot of our songs don't have a ton of streams on Spotify, because it literally didn't exist.
That is insane.
But anyway, so that was really, really frustrating, the whole YouTuber concept, and we just wanted so bad to break out of it. And Bad For Me definitely was our breakout moment when people did start taking us seriously. That's another reason why it holds such a special place in my heart. Yeah. But I vividly remember that when Bad For Me came out, there was that USA Today article. Do you remember that?
No.
Because we put out the We Are Never Getting Back Together cover.
Oh, right around the same time.
Like 2 or 3 days after Bad For Me came out. And the USA Today article noticed that, and they said something along the lines of they put out this cover, but they didn't need to. They've graduated. And we were like, finally!
Oh, I don't remember that, but that's nice.
Yeah, no, I remember. I was like, oh my gosh. And it was just like a mainstream media thing. And I was just, it was so, so great.
Yeah. And then people ask us all the time to, you know, why'd you stop doing covers? Like, why'd you like abandon your, like, whatever, like the YouTube or whatever? And it wasn't that we abandoned it. It's just we never wanted to be the girls who did covers.
Yeah.
Like we did it because it was a way to get people to see us.
It was a way to get us out of our small town and
Yeah.
like in the right people's offices. Like,
yeah, we never wanted to be like the girls who would have to fight with the other 10 to like get the cover done first. Like that wasn't our passion. That was our mode of like getting to like be true artists in ourselves. And like we felt like we had gotten there, and then kind of the landscape changed too, where like people didn't really want covers anymore, not just from us, but just from like anybody. And it was like
occasionally I feel like covers do well, but people just aren't searching and viewing covers like they used to 10 years ago. But yeah, also with the never wanting to like be the cover girls, we've said this a lot. That's why we always put our original music up, because we were like, the covers are getting us attention, but like that's not what we want to do. It was like our way to segue into being artists. Okay, so let's talk about some stories about, you know, like our top covers. I feel like the first one I want to talk about is Stereo Hearts, because
love that one.
Yeah, I think that maybe our most viewed cover.
Yeah, if it's not our number one, it's probably number 2.
So, and you know what's funny about that cover is we didn't even want to cover it. Our manager sent us, he was like, hey, you guys should cover this song next. I think it's going to be really big.
Yeah.
And I mean, we listened to the song, we're like, okay, yeah, like we like it, but like we didn't pick that one.
But it also it didn't fit our usual formula of like big artists coming out with song, got a race for it. It was honestly our manager, Chris Allen, shout out to Chris Allen.
Yes.
Like that man had an ear for music that was truly unbelievable. Like he could hear a hit a mile away.
Yeah.
And he knew that song by Gym Class Heroes, which like was not a big band.
Yeah, but
you know what I
it
mean?
had Adam Levine
it
on
did,
it.
but
Yeah.
even that, like, it wasn't a guaranteed hit. But he just knew and had a feeling that song was going to be huge. And we were kind of the only YouTubers at the time to cover it that early before it got popular.
So that was definitely like a backward strategic move that ended up working.
It worked. And it ended up being a really good cover for us because it was so fun. Like, the rapping in it was so fun, and the creative concepts for the video was so fun.
Yeah, our shout out to Casey Culver.
Oh man,
yeah, you know Casey, and you love Casey. If you were a Megan and Liz fan back in the day, he did all of our covers. He was like the director. He was the one who was like, wear something funky.
Yeah.
So like I think those were his glasses that he brought or something that I ended up wearing.
Yeah, probably. Didn't we like go to Claire's and like get
that was stuff? That was for Love You Like a Love Song.
But where'd we get those headphones? Those like weird headphones. We each had them. They were like from Michael's or something.
No, I think we already had those.
Okay.
Or we got sent them maybe. I can't remember.
Yeah.
But yeah, that one was just like so funky and out of the box.
And then how'd we do the CDs? Like the CDs was so cool.
I think I just like had a bunch of like old burned CDs from my car, didn't I?
And we were like, let's cover the bed with them and like see what happens. Like that's so fun.
Yeah, it was fun and creative because I mean, obviously you knew if you watched any of our videos, we literally shot them all in my bedroom.
And it was like a challenge, like with Casey, like we would literally be like, okay, like another song in this bedroom, like how can we make it different? How can we make it fresh? How can we do something that we've never done before?
Which led us to one of your favorite covers, which was Domino, where we literally tore apart my bedroom.
Yeah, we're like, well, maybe we just like destroy it. Like, what if we just flipped over the bed? What if we just like threw the lamp around? What if we just destroyed this room? And that was like truly, that was one of my favorite covers. Like for that reason. Well, I just liked the way it sounded too, but like that video was so cool.
Yeah, because we had fun doing it. I mean, like, what teenager doesn't want to like destroy a bedroom?
And Casey, he was young too. He was like 26 maybe at that time.
25 or 26.
Yeah. And so it was just like us and like this young creative guy, and we would just like all just sit together and be like, all right, like, what can we do with this song and this video? And it was so fun.
Yeah.
So
In this
fun.
room.
Yeah.
Okay, another cover that was, again, it's one of our most viewed covers is E.T. by Katy Perry, and there's a flub in it. I mean, literally, like, but that was the beauty of the one take covers, you know? It was like, that was as good of one. And I remember being like, honestly, at that point, we were probably like going somewhere or like had cheerleading practice or a football game or something. Like, we didn't have time to re-record it, and we were just like, let's just like put
Close
it up.
enough, good enough. Well, and also sometimes those one take covers, like, oh my God, you and I would get so frustrated with each
like
other.
Not speaking to each other.
Well, it's just because like we would, first of all, we would not prepare. Like,
No.
That's the other thing about that era is like, it's like, you know, you get what you get out, you know what I mean? And or what you put in. And most of the time we're like, all right, we got the gist. Let's just like turn the camera on, like hope for the best. And sometimes it like worked out. We only did like 1 or 2 takes. Then sometimes it was like 16 takes.
And we would always get so, oh my gosh, I wish we had. I wonder if we like dig back on our old Mac. I wonder, like, we would get so mad at each other, especially like if we got to the end of the song.
Oh, and like we messed up one word, or like
it was like, good luck, like sleep with one eye open tonight, sis, because
it would just, because we would put ourselves on these like imaginary time frames. Oh gosh, it was so frustrating. But
yeah, but I mean, also too, we were just like, I don't know, we were like sisters. Like,
we're like 15-year-old sisters trying to get to a football game.
Yeah.
It's like we didn't think that, like, especially with something like E.T., that like it would go that viral, and we're like, man, we really should have just done it again.
Done another take.
Yeah, but whatever.
Okay, so this next one that I want to talk about is another journey of YouTube, which is when the covers went from what we were doing, which was, you know, the one takes, to produced covers. So, you know, actually, like, you went into the studio, pre-recorded the audio, and you'd had like a high-res camera. I remember when that shift happened, we were panicking. We were like, how are we gonna do this? Like, we have to start doing it. And it was so weird. There wasn't like a YouTube group chat where it's like, hey, we're not doing crap covers anymore. We're producing them like mini music videos. There was never like a meeting. It was just like everybody flipped at once, and we were panicking.
Like it wasn't like we invented the like pre-record the cover and then, you know, do a nice glossy video. It was just kind of like what was happening in the YouTube scene, and the one take videos where we were like messing up weren't really cutting it anymore. And so we were like, well, we got to play the game, so let's like play the game.
So our first one was Hummingbird Heartbeat. And oh gosh, I watched this cover back. So keep in mind, again, we had just moved to Nashville from Edwardsburg, Michigan at this point. And I personally had never been in front of a camera like that before. And if you watch,
neither had I. Yeah,
I'm so uncomfortable. Like, I keep looking up. And that's another way you can always tell if somebody's uncomfortable in front of the camera. They're not looking into the camera. They're like looking around. They're like rolling their eyes. They're looking over here. They're looking over there. And that's all I see when I watch that one, because I was so uncomfortable. I just didn't know what to do.
Yeah. And that is kind of a crazy thing too, that I feel like kids these days, like a 16, well, I guess we were 18 at that point.
Yeah.
I feel like an 18-year-old girl, if you were to compare it to like the level of that we were at just with like the internet and makeup and all that, like I feel like they're used to looking at themselves in a camera. They're used to being in front of a camera. They're used to the lighting. They're used to everything, because that's just kind of the currency of like what it is.
Talking to a camera and like staring.
We did as much as we could, but again, the internet was kind of like in its infancy. So like when we made that switch to the nice cameras and the good lighting and all of that, it was like, whoa.
It was really intimidating.
It was extremely intimidating. And also, I think that Hummingbird Heartbeat, I mean, geez, we'd been in the studio a handful of times. And so recording in a studio was also intimidating. And I say studio lightly. Shout out to Matt Dragstrom, who is now a huge accomplished writer. He's written a ton of songs, but at that time, again, he was kind of in the Casey realm of like, it was this young, he had to be 25.
I don't even think he was 25,
yeah,
dude. I think he was like early 20s.
Yeah, like who, again, Chris Allen, our manager, had found him and was like, he's a really good track guy and he's young and he like wants to like, you know, produce these covers for like practice, you know, for his tracks. And like, obviously we were paying him, but like,
yeah,
he was excited. So we would literally go over to this man's house that he shared with like 3 other dudes.
Yep. Sit in this man's bedroom
And record these songs with like a microphone he had in the room. And then he would like take a week or so and produce the track of the cover. And that was so crazy.
Yeah, I mean, I vividly remember when we recorded the Enchanted cover at his house.
One.
Oh, because I mean, obviously Enchanted's like a 17-minute long song. Not really, but it's like a very long song. And recording that, we were also fighting a thunderstorm.
Yeah.
And I remember we were just like, are we done yet? It took like 4 hours. It was like insane. And there's like all the little background parts and whatnot. Yeah. But also this era of covers was when the whole, oh my God, you use autotune.
Oh my gosh, the
autotune
started. Comments.
It's like, yeah, it's called being in a studio. Everybody uses it.
Yeah, it's industry standard to use. Like, it's not even autotune if you want to get technical. It's something called Melodyne, but
I mean, some people use autotune still.
Yeah, but
yeah, that's when that started. And I remember we would get such rude comments like, I just like never thought we'd lose you guys to autotune. I was like, oh my God,
come on.
But yeah, so that whole era of covers was wild. But yeah, again, shout out to Matt Dragstrom, because I think something happened with him and our label that we don't know about.
I think so too.
Because it just like feels like it ended bad. I don't think it was on our end, but I do think our label kind of snubbed him in a way that we were never made aware of. So that kind of is a bummer, but congrats on your success, Matt. You're a great guy. We had a lot of fun with you.
Yeah, I saw him like kind of recently.
Really?
Like, yeah, because I think we lived in the same neighborhood.
Okay.
Like when I was towards the end of living in Nashville.
Yeah.
And like I would like cross paths with him like all the time, like on the street.
Did you like...
Yeah, I remember we like stopped and I was like, hey, and he was like, oh my God, hey, like that, like we had like that interaction and it was fine.
Oh, okay. That's good.
But no, something definitely shady happened and we don't know what it is. But again, we were freaking 18 and it's like we weren't dealing with like getting him paid. That was our like label's job.
We were kept behind like a curtain.
Yeah, which like honestly good. I mean, good and bad. Good because we didn't need more on our plate. To be quite honest, like we didn't need more on our plate, but yeah.
So if you were a Megan and Liz fan back in the day, you will also remember Megan and Liz Beauty.
Yes.
And that channel, which now kind of like, I understand why we kept it separate, but the way things are now, I would have just put it all on the same channel. But yeah, the Megan and Liz Beauty channel was iconic in my mind. I feel like there's still like people that come up to me when they meet me and they're like, you taught me how to French braid.
Yeah. No, that's what's so funny about the beauty channel is like for a while there, like when we were like really getting recognized, you know, in public and stuff, sometimes people would literally come up to us and be like, I love your makeup channel. Like I love your like, yeah, like you taught me how to braid my hair. You taught me how to like do my makeup, whatever. And they wouldn't even know that we were singers.
Yeah. Like no, that's why I think I would have put them together on the same channel. Like if I were to do it again.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, that was always crazy. We'd be like, I think I remember that time because we thought it was so weird to be recognized as not singers. We were like, oh,
we were just YouTubers. We were beauty YouTubers.
Yeah.
Or like, lifestyle creators, which like, that is so crazy. Like that's just like the dawn of the internet. You know, like the fact that we had 2 viral YouTube channels
wild
popping off at the same time for completely different topics. That's like unheard of now.
Yeah.
Like we just truly struck gold.
I know. Truly. And also we always say that the fact that there were 2 of us was like kind of weird. Like, I think that that's what like drew people to us. And then once people found out that we were twins, it was even weirder. That like kind of kept people around. They were like,
well, because we're not going to break up.
well, yeah, well that, but also it was like we looked so different, and we do look so different.
We really catered to like if you were a Liz girl, if you were a Megan girl, or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. The lifestyle channel was, or I guess beauty channel is more beauty, I guess. But yeah, some videos that went viral on that, I'm like, what?
Yeah.
Like the waterfall braid one has like 1 million views.
People need to know.
But that's people need to know, especially in like 2012. It was like, if you didn't have a waterfall braid, who were you?
Yeah, goodbye.
But it's just so crazy that we had both of those channels at the same time.
Yeah, and also, side note, I feel like we need to give a shout out to Savannah Uten here, because she is literally the reason that we even started doing YouTube. And I feel like every single YouTuber has that person who they saw and they were like, I want to do that. And ours was hands down Savannah Uten. We still follow each other on Insta. We're Insta friends. And honestly, I feel like she was the pioneer-S of YouTube covers.
I can't think of anyone who was doing it besides her.
No.
Like that early.
Yeah.
Maybe it was just like for us, like she was just perfect for us.
Yeah.
But I can't think of anybody who was doing it before her. Like maybe Kurt Schneider.
Or maybe, no, I was going to say maybe Boyce Avenue, but they just weren't on our radar yet.
Yeah, because they were a little bit more like boys and older or
I feel
something.
like their audience is just like older and like more mature, I feel like. 'Cause
they would do more classic covers. They would do like classic song covers, whereas like Savannah was doing like
7 Things by Miley Cyrus.
Yeah, it was like just for us.
But I do remember at the Boyce Avenue shows, because that was like our first tour. We opened for Boyce Avenue. I remember their audience was definitely a little older. Like
we were playing bars.
Yeah.
And you know,
and we were like the teeny bopper audience.
Yeah.
So maybe that's why they very well could have been doing them around the same time. I'm not sure. They probably were.
Boyce Avenue also, let's just like talk about them for a second. They are like the smartest, most strategic men we've ever met.
And
like
the nicest.
Like very, 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 very kind, but also like they treated their YouTube like a business in a way that like I remember at 18 being like, whoa, you guys have your covers scheduled out for the next like 6 months. Like you have your tour scheduled out for the next 3 years. Like it was insane to me that like they and it worked for them. Like they're massively successful and still are. Like they still tour all the time.
Yeah, and they're like a massively successful touring band, which is like so hard to do if you started on YouTube.
But they did it, and they were doing it early. Like we were playing shows with them in 2011, and they were selling out like 300, 400 room. Luckily, that's battery.
Everything, I think, except the lights are battery.
Oh my gosh! Wow.
If you're watching, there's a
power flickered.
Memphis gets a little bit of rain. Power grid freaks out. Yeah. They just great guys, smart guys.
Took us under their wing for the shows.
Yeah.
Like they were literally like, we want you guys to open for us. And 18-year-old us, we were like, okay.
And Tiffany.
Oh yeah. Were we on the same? We played like it was like Tiffany, us, and them.
Yeah.
For a good stretch of shows.
Yeah, Tiffany was like the sister that we never had.
Yeah, we always ended up in situations with her.
Yeah.
And her mom, like all of us just, oh gosh, like being stranded at the airport together.
Yeah.
And
it was just like her and her mom and like us and our mom.
Yeah. And like random horrible venues that we were just like uncomfortably standing there like,
well, we were uncomfortable because a lot of the times like we would have to like stand in one little area, play the show, and then like we couldn't stay because we weren't 21.
Yeah
But that was fun. I'm glad we had her for those shows. And honestly, the Boyce Avenue guys were nothing but sweet to us as well.
Yeah,
that's one thing I will say about the YouTube community is everybody's very nice. Kurt was like literally everybody was so nice.
Yeah, Kurt was so random because we randomly like recorded a song. We like recorded a version of Maybe Possibly with him.
Yeah, we did.
And
a lot of people want to know the story behind that, by the way, of like why we did a 2.0 version.
I'm like, I don't even know.
I think we just called it 2.0 because we already had a version out. So it was like Taylor's version, but like we just called it 2.0 because it was just like a re-recording.
But I remember
and it had a bridge.
We went to, where did he go to college?
We went to, it was somewhere in Connecticut.
I know, it was one of like the Ivy Leagues. It was like Yale. I sound so dumb. Like me being like, I don't even know what Ivy League we were at. But it was either Harvard or Yale. It was like one of those crazy.
Was it?
Yes, Megan. We're gonna have to ask Mom.
Okay. Yeah, she'll remember.
She will remember. But it was one of those like Ivy League universities that he was studying at, or his friend was studying at, or something.
Wasn't it Sam Sui? Weren't they roommates?
I don't remember. I don't remember working with him necessarily. But this is like so long ago. But I remember it was such a strange experience, like recording on campus in this studio on campus at one of these universities, and that's where we recorded Maybe Possibly. Like that is the most random thing in the world.
Yeah, no, that I did forget that was recorded in a weird spot. But yeah, so that was fun. But yeah, like they were really nice. Christina Grimmie was always nothing but nice. The YouTube community was all very supportive, but at the same time competitive. Yeah. It was a really weird genre of the music industry.
Which, rest in peace, Christina Grimmie.
Yeah.
That was something that like I think shook a lot of the like YouTube community and like community in general of like artists that level. It changed a lot for us. I think did we talk about that? How like that's kind of when we were like, maybe we don't want to tour as much, and like
because it just honestly it was like a wake-up call of, oh my goodness, like this can happen. Like you kind of live in this like la world of that won't happen to me, and then when that actually happened to her, it was like I'm like just sick over it. Like just because I mean even the band that she was opening for we knew, and we played that venue, and it was just like it was like way too close to home, and I still can't believe that happened.
I definitely think like the YouTube community, like when we talk about like those original 10, like I think we all really felt that, and we like felt that for her and her family and like her like legacy as an artist, because she really did. She broke out of YouTube, I would say.
Oh, for sure.
I mean, she had so many great songs, and
she was just unbelievbly talented.
Unbelievably talented. I remember always being like, her videos were this power keeps flicking. No, I remember her videos and like her voice just being like, whoa.
Yeah. No, she was a powerhouse.
Yeah.
But rest in peace. Gosh, that's still I get like a little misty thinking about it too much, honestly. Still. So yeah, we're gonna end this podcast on a positive note.
Yes.
We honestly, number one, want to thank all of you. If you still are supporting us, if you're still watching our covers, even though it's 2024, we still get people that come up to us in public today that are like, I've watched you since 2010. I've watched you since, you lived at the basement house, or the phone ringing. Like, it's just like, it never gets old, and we're truly so thankful that we still have you guys to talk to, and you're listening to this right now. It's just, we've been on a ride together, and we've grown up together, and we're just unbelievably grateful.
Yeah, to say, I feel like it is truly an honor to say that we have had relationships with so many of you for more than half of our lives.
Yeah.
Because of these YouTube videos, and because of like us doing these stupid little covers in our basement. And like, that is something, and I like, there's not a day that goes by that we don't wake up and like think about the communication we're going to have on the internet with some of you who we've been communicating with for 15 years.
We see you guys, we saw you guys graduate high school. We saw you guys graduate college. We saw you guys get married. We're seeing you guys have kids. It's just like the craziest, coolest thing. And a lot of you guys have met some of your long really, really good friends through us, which is like even crazier to me. And it's just like unbelievable. And I'm just so grateful.
I think about it all the time. Like when I look at like photos of us when we were like children, I think about how cool it is that we were going to have this experience, this unique once in a lifetime experience of like connecting with all of these people for as long as we've been connecting with them and with you. And it is just like, it is so cool.
It's so special.
It is so special and so unique, and it is not something that we take for granted ever. And if you've listened to us now, you know, episode 10, if you listen to every episode, that's 10 hours of us just yapping. And we're so grateful. And it's really, really awesome. So thank you. Thank you for listening. Thank you for listening to this podcast. We don't know when we'll be back. We haven't really decided. You know, we don't know.
Yeah, we're definitely, I mean, it won't be until after the new year for sure, because we've got the holidays coming up and all that. Everybody's busy. We're kind of just gonna sit down and see if we have enough, what we feel like is a strong season 2.
Yeah, we're always open to suggestions. Yeah. We're open to topics you'd want us to discuss.
Like we said, we came into this knowing we had 10 episodes for one season. So just, you know, if you have any ideas, let us know.
It's been fun.
It's been really fun. And maybe we'll see you again for season 2, or maybe we won't.
Yeah, we're not gonna promise anything because we just don't. We're not gonna do that.
Yeah.
But like, we think that we will.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, it's fun. Like if nobody cares about it, like you and I have fun just yapping.
So true.
Like truly, like just you and I
yapping.
have fun. Yeah, we just yapping.
We love you guys, and thank you always for the support on here, on Instagram, anywhere that you're commenting, liking, messaging. We see them. We love you.
Yes. We love you.
We're grateful.
All right. We'll see you soon.
Bye.